This is my video of the evolution of the PlayStation controllers, starting from the PS1 right up until now, the current PlayStation 5. As you can see here, right, this is the controller for the PlayStation 1. Now, I never owned a PlayStation 1 at launch. I got the PS1 much later on when my friend gave me his console. Now, as you can see here, now for me, I'm really used to the Nintendo pad. So I remember first playing on the PlayStation 1 and then getting used to the D-pad controller. Sorry, the D-pad thing here. And as you can see here, they're kind of separate here. So for me, especially when it came to playing fighting games like Tekken, or some of the Street Fighter games, or even a game which I'm not sure many people remember, Toshinden. At first I found it hard to get used to, but then after a while it becomes second nature. As you can see, obviously you've got the big Sony branding on the front. Obviously you've got the select and start, the triangle, circle, X, and square buttons there, and there. You can actually feel them, and they feel really good. And then you've got the back of the controller, and there's a lot of screws here. And obviously you've got the pad here. And then you've got the trigger buttons here. The L2, R2, R1, L1. And I have to admit, it does feel comfortable in the hands. So it does feel really comfortable. But I remember playing games like I'm trying to remember what games I've played in it. The Gran Turismo 1, Gran Turismo 2, Dino Crisis, as before, Tekken 1, Tekken 2, Toshinden. Time Crisis, obviously you could play with the joypad, but you had to use the Namco gun, which I wish I had, even though I've actually got the game. And one of my favourite games that I loved on the PlayStation 1 was Command and Conquer. And then the other Command and Conquer games, like I think there was Command and Conquer Red Alert, which I really loved playing on the PlayStation. But yeah, it's really light, and it actually still works. Obviously, this is before the rumble features were added into the pads, but it was a nice, for me, despite getting used to this pad here, it was a nice solid pad, and so I really liked it, and really light. So I mean, this is a little bit old and a bit dirty, but it still works. I put this to one side. I've got a few third-party ones. Now, as you can see, it's generally got the same shape, but as you can see, the buttons are kind of very different. So you got one here by GameStar. Now, as you can see, when you compare to the official one, you can see the difference. It seems a little bit bigger. Obviously, the D-pad is very different. Now, this one, I mean, it feels really loose. But I've never used it. When I got given the console, I got given the extra pads, but I've never actually used this one. So as you can see, it's so far different from this one, and it just feels really loose. So I don't know how it really plays. The back of it, same amount of screws, and then you've got the buttons at the top, which seem, I don't know if it's me, they seem a little bit smaller and a little bit softer. And obviously you've got the triangle, circle, X, and square. These feel a little bit more spongy compared to the official one. So I don't know, but as I said, with this D-pad, it feels like there's a lot more travel in it. So I don't know for beat 'em ups whether or not it would be a good thing or a bad thing. And then it carries on the same grey motif with the PS1 colours. So you've got this one here. So put this one to one side. Now this is back in the day when controllers were all wired, so you had to sit nearer to the screen. This is another PlayStation pad. Now this one is play a PS1 pad. Now this one is much bigger and obviously a different color. As you can see here, when you compare the sizes, I mean, this is a lot bigger than the official one. So if you've got big hands, I suppose this will be good. Again, it has the same D-pad where there's a lot of travel in it. The buttons feel a lot more clicky. And obviously you've got the triangle, circle, X, and square. But this time you don't have the color motifs for each of the different PlayStation shapes. So that's different. Obviously you've got the start and select, and you've got the clear, and you've got like a turbo set. So for some games, if you're rapidly pressing on a button, it will be a lot easier. But the pad feels so much bigger. So if you've got big hands, then this would be great. But the only thing I haven't used this pad either. But the only thing I would say for me even is that there's a little bit too much travel in the D-pad for me. But I don't know how much that would have an effect on the game, because obviously I've never used it. But yeah, this is one of the third-party controllers made by Wild Things. So the other one was GameStar, and that was a third party. Now I'm not sure, I can't remember far back if these pads were officially where they got the license from Sony, but those were cheaper options if you wanted to play multiplayer games. Now we move on to the DualShock 2. Now this is for the PlayStation 2. Obviously the first one was the DualShock 1. Now when these first came out, obviously this control pad was they were black, but then later on in its lifespan they released different colors, so you could get blue, red, whatever color. Now I had the original PlayStation 2, and that was silver. So obviously this is why this one's silver. But then unfortunately a couple of years ago that broke, so luckily I managed to find another PS2, but I got a PS2 Slim, which was luckily in silver. So now I've got the two pads that came with the original PS2, and then another silver PS2 DualShock pad, so that's great. As you can see here, very similar in design. For me, I don't know if it's me, it seems a little bit bigger. Obviously the big difference here is that you've got the two twin sticks here, and you've got the analog button, which allows you to turn on the joystick controls on and off. Again, no vibrational or haptic feedback. Now obviously you've got the triangle, circle, X, and square, and you've got the different, obviously the colors for each of the other ones, and obviously the same D-pad. Now when you look at the buttons here, they're a lot bigger. So if you look at the R2 and L2 buttons, they're a lot bigger, they're way bigger. And then the R1 and L1 are a lot smaller, but they feel really clicky. I mean, really nice. I mean, you can't beat that right with the official pads. Now, the only thing I didn't like about the silver over the years with the silver pads is that unfortunately they just sprayed it. So then after a while, with wear and tear or scratches, right, you'd see straight through it, which is unfortunate. But it was a really, really nice controller. But I actually liked it. And as you can see here, that when you're holding it in your hand, not only for me did it feel good, but it's a really, really good size in its size. And you've got obviously the Sony, and if you look here, obviously I mean that's pretty much the same. Now, I remember when I got the PlayStation 2, but most of the time I used to sit there and play it around my mate's house, and then especially playing with GTA 3. And I think one day, it was coming up to my birthday, and I decided that I was gonna buy my first Sony console. So I bought the PlayStation 2, and then I remember the first game I got on it was the GTA 3 and the GTA Vice City double pack, which I still have. So I bought that, and then obviously you got the memory card that you had to buy that came with it. But I remember really enjoying the PlayStation 2. I'm trying to think of the highlights that I had that I'm trying to think, because there's so many games. Obviously, you've got the GTA. You've got the I think there was a Street Fighter anniversary collection there. You had the Gran Turismo 3 on there. There were some games like, I think there was a couple of Spider-Man games that I really liked in there. There was Second Sight, Maximo, more of the Tekken games that kind of came out on the actual console. I mean, there were so many good games on the PS2, and then even after the PS2 got phased out, I still stuck and was going around collecting PS2 games, and even now I still collect them. So I've got a lot now. I've got a large collection, considering there were maybe about in the UK roughly between £30 and £40. And these days, you can pick up a lot of games for anything from between 50p to £1, even £2. And I remember one of my favourite sports games was the Pro Evo soccer games. I'm trying to think of the game. The Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance, which came with the 2 discs. Metal Gear Solid Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, which was one of my favourite games, Metal Gear games, and favourite games on the PS2, and I absolutely loved that game. And as I said, I've got like a huge collection of PS2 games, so I'm really kind of pleased I got that. And again, the silver finish is really nice. I just wish I could have got the different coloured DualShock 2 pads, but maybe if I can find some in my travels. Then we move on to the DualShock 3. Obviously you'll notice a big difference with this, where obviously no wires, and this is what I think is one of the first, Sony consoles that used Bluetooth. So as you can see here, that compared to the DualShock 2 to the DualShock 3, they're pretty much identical. Obviously aside from it's wireless, the triggers. The only thing that are different is the triggers are a little bit different. You've got the R1, L1, obviously the pad here, and then you've got like a new home button that now turns on the actual console, so that's great. And then you've got the dual sticks. Now I did read that initially the DualShock 3s never had haptic feedback or the vibration thing, because I think Sony were in some kind of court case. So the original DualShock 3s didn't vibrate, making the pads a lot lighter, because this does feel a lot obviously heavier than compared to the previous other iterations of the DualShocks. And then eventually they re-released the DualShock 3 with the haptic feedback and the vibration in it, so because it's great. Now the only colours I've got is black. I've got 2 other ones. Again, the PS3, I love that console. I remember getting it. I went half and half with my brother and getting it, because he wanted to get Metal Gear Solid 4, and then I built up like a huge collection of PS3 games. I mean, there's so many to start from. As I said before, I mean, I really love the PS3, and I've still got multiple games. I've even got a ton of games that I haven't played yet, so I need to go back and start playing those games. But I love that console. But I originally had the 80GB fat PS3, which served me well until the HDMI broke, so I ended up having to get a second-hand PS3 Slim. So, but I do wish I had the originals, the early PS3, because I think those apparently were back compatible with the PS2. So I really wish I had that. Well, I really wish I had those. But as for, I've got a huge collection of PS3 games, and I'm still collecting them now. And then one of my favourite games that I liked on the PS3 was Uncharted. Now I heard a lot of stories about that game, and I remember trying out. I think I tried a demo of it on the PlayStation Store, and then from the limited playable demo, I loved the game. I loved Uncharted 1 so much that the following day, woke up really early, went to the shops, and then managed to pick up a copy of it, and luckily it actually was the last copy of the of Uncharted 1 that was available. So ever since then I've been a huge Uncharted fan. So obviously I got Uncharted 2 for the PS3 and Uncharted 3, and then I even got the Uncharted trilogy for the PS4 remastered, and have got Uncharted 4, but I just haven't played it for the PS4, but I haven't played it yet. And the spin-off Uncharted game with Chloe, which I haven't played it either. I think I played the demo of that, but I really liked it. But yeah, there's so many classic games for the PS3, and just so many games that, as I said, I've yet to still play in my collection, and games that I still want. And obviously, you had Gran Turismo 5, Gran Turismo 6, the FIFA games that I used to play in there. I think FIFA 10, 11 were my favourite. You've got the Pro Evo series. I think the Tomb Raider, the first of the Tomb Raider remake, came out on there. So I had that. You had Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4. God, I've lost count because Capcom keep releasing so many times. Devil May Cry. There's just so many classic games that were available on the PS3 and still are. And for me, it's just a shame that the next consoles weren't backward compatible. Otherwise, could have played the PS3 on the PS4 and PS5. But yeah, you've got the as I said, you've got the PS3 pad or the DualShock 3. But as I thought, not much different from the DualShock 2, aside from the fact that it's heavier. You've obviously got the vibration thing, which makes it a lot heavier, and obviously it's Bluetooth, which is great, so you can sit in your comfort of your armchair or your bed or wherever, and not have to worry about the cables not being long enough. But this was a good pad. Now, my only little gripe about the DualShock 3 is that obviously once the battery is dead, I mean, you there's no way to sit there to take it apart, so you literally have to take the whole pad apart, and I'm not brave enough to sit there to kind of do that, although I have done it once and I couldn't put it back together again. But I just wish they had have made it a lot easier to take apart. But overall, a good pad. So we'll move on. We've got here the DualShock 4. This is for the PlayStation 4, obviously. Now, as you can see, it's still got the basic same design from the DualShock 3. So if I sit down and put it here, but as you can see, the pad is a lot bigger. And first of all, so we've still got the same familiar D-pad here. Obviously, the buttons, and all color coded. Obviously, we've got the dual sticks. Obviously, but they seem to be obviously because the pad's bigger, they seem to be like wider apart, and the design of it's different. So obviously it grips, as you're gonna see here, it grips with your thumb. You've got the home button, which is here, which obviously can turn the console on and off. You've got this little speaker thing here where there are some games where you can actually hear the character or certain things coming from this little speaker. You've got the touchpad here, which was a new feature to the DualShock series and the DualShock 4. So that was kind of great, but to me it was criminally underutilized. But again, really great. You've got your microphone. Sorry, you can plug in like a microphone here into the pad. So if you want to talk to your friends or plug in your headphones, I mean, you've got the option. You've got so now new buttons. So you've got the option buttons and you've got the share button. So now obviously you can use this to open up the menu of your game. And the share button here, you can record footage onto your PlayStation 4 hard drive. Obviously, you can record to Twitch, or you can record to YouTube using the share button here, or you can share to things to different social media like Twitter or Facebook with screenshots. But now I know with Facebook they've got rid of that now. And another big feature here is that you've got this new glowing bar here, which glows, and it does glow right different colors, so it can glow from anything from white, blue, green, red, depending on the actual game. But with the speakers thing here and the glowing thing here, how this glows, that does drain the battery, but you can actually dim it all down in the menu screen. Now you've got the new trigger buttons here, which are fantastic, especially right for shooters. So as you can see here, how it feels in the hand, and it does feel really great. It's got a great feel to it, and obviously in these buttons you can push down, so that's kind of great. Obviously, I mean, they did release a version 2 of the DualShock 4, which I have here. Now, unfortunately, I mean, I haven't. Obviously, they're available available in a different range of colors. Now, this is the version 2, which I have to unbox. I've had this for months and I haven't unboxed this. Now, the difference between the version 2 and the original version of it are that, obviously, aside from different colors are available, the buttons I've got a grey hue to it. Now, when you're recording or doing anything like that, you usually get like a red. It usually glows red. But on the on the version 2, it actually glows red across here, so there's a lot here. But obviously on this one, it doesn't do it. But on this one here, it does glow across here. So that's basically what the difference is. And apparently they say it's got a better battery life. So I am going to be doing a future unboxing of this, a more detailed look and maybe a comparison with this, so you will see that. Now with the DualShock 4, obviously that's with the PlayStation 4. I didn't get the PS4 right away at launch. I got it maybe like a couple of months after from Amazon, but it was in a light new condition. And then I think I got Killzone. I think I got Killzone that I got with it. And since then, I mean, there's a lot of games that I love playing in it. The Devil May Cry, the Uncharted remastered, Gran Turismo Sport, which I love, Horizon Zero Dawn. I have got Resident Evil 2 remake, Resident Evil 3 remake, which I haven't played it, but I probably will be playing it on the PS4. Obviously you've got Tomb Raider. You've got the Tomb Raider. I bought Tomb Raider again, remastered again on the PlayStation 4. Obviously the Uncharted remastered. You've got Uncharted 4, Metal Gear Solid Zeros. Again, great game, but at the time was a lot. I think it was a little bit too much money for it at the time. The Metal Gear. God, I can't remember that game again. The Metal Gear game on the PlayStation 4. I love that as well. That was a great game. I mean, I know a lot of people, some people didn't. Obviously, the story, but they chopped out some of the chapters out of it. Alien Isolation, I loved playing. As I said before, I've got a lot of PlayStation games. Also, Horizon Zero Dawn, GTA, Gran Turismo Sport. Some of the FIFA games, not all of them, because some of them I did like, and some of them I didn't. I've got the Final Fantasy remake, which again I will be playing on the PS4. Obviously they've patched it for the PS5. Days Gone, Doom, the Wolfenstein games that they've released in there. So I've got a ton of games to play for the PS4, and again I really liked the PlayStation 4, and again also you again, as I said before, it's hard to change it. I mean, obviously this is wireless, and again it's hard to take out the battery, but this one is it's really easy to take apart if you do want to get to the battery, but you have to be careful not to rip out the ribbon cable, because there's a little ribbon cable in the actual back of the pad when you kind of separate it, but it was very easy. But again, PS4, I loved it, so I'll probably keeping it. I mean, I never had a Pro. And last but not least, we have the creme de la creme. This is the PS5 DualSense. Now, obviously, in comparison to the comparison, we got it. In comparison to the DualShock 4 to the DualSense, this pad is so much bigger, and it does. I have to admit, it does feel comfortable in your hands. Obviously, you've got the familiar twin sticks here. You've got the triangle, circle, X, and square buttons. But now they're not color coded anymore, which I kind of do miss that. But you've got this clear plastic finish of the buttons. Obviously, the D pad does feel a lot, for me, softer. I'm not sure if you can hear if that picks up on the microphone. Just feel a lot softer compared to. On this, it's quite soft. For me, it does feel a lot more soft and comfortable. The dual sticks feel exactly the same to me, anyway. Obviously, Bluetooth. So there's no wires, which you can still can play with wire. Wired charging, of course. You still got the option and the share button here now, but now it's a lot more blended into the actual body of the actual pad. Obviously, you've got the headphones thing here. You can actually use you can actually speak through the actual pad by just pressing this, but it's not as good as a traditional headset, but the option is there. Obviously, you've got the USB Type C now. Again, as what I mean, I've seen videos and pictures of the pad, but when you see it in person, it's kind of like really nice. Obviously, you still got the touchpad, which is kind of really great. So I'm hoping that with the PS5 that it's used a lot more than what they did in the PS4, because it wasn't used a lot. But I'm hoping it's going to be used a lot more. Obviously, you've got the R1, L1, and you've got the R2 and the L2. So you've got like the triggers, and so now you've got the adaptive triggers here and haptic feedback. So basically, if you're playing a game like Horizon Zero Dawn, and say like you've got Aloy is using her is pulling back the bowl, what that would mean is that you could actually feel as she's pulling back on the string of the actual bowl, you can actually feel the tension. You would feel the tension of the bowl being pulled. So that's kind of great. And same thing with just playing like a shooter. As you're slowly starting to press down, and you can actually feel the force of the actual trigger. So I'm really hoping that the third-party company, people who are making games for the PS5, actually utilized this for the pad. But yeah, as I said before, this is a lot heavier. It's a lot heftier than the DualShock. This DualSense is a lot heavier, because I think it used a slightly bigger battery. So I'm hoping it lasts a lot longer than the DualShock 4, because that didn't last very long itself. And again, I've only had the PS5 for a week, so I haven't really played it a lot. I've played the Hitman starter pack, and that not only did it look great, but it felt great. Although I do need a 4K TV to really completely benefit from it. But I have got a couple of games. Mine again, my nephew got me the PS5, so special thanks to Darius Knight for helping me out. I mean, I wasn't really expecting to get any games for it, but I was really kind of like taken back that I was given not only 3 games. I think I was given Pathless, Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War, and Miles Morales Spider-Man. So that's great. And obviously the added bonus is obviously that it's back for the PS4, so some of the games have been patched to look better. Oh, I forgot to mention, obviously for the PS4 also got God of War, but don't tell anyone, but I haven't played that yet. But again, now we've got the PS5, I will be playing that. But yeah, so far from what the little limited use I've had of the DualSense, it's actually really nice. Again, as well, I've got two pads, and obviously now they've just released two different colors. So you've got the blue DualSense and you've got the red DualSense, and I have to admit they do look really nice. And obviously you can get decals to put across the pad if you want, if you can't really afford to buy the pads. But yeah, but overall, I mean, obviously this is my history of the pads here. So you've got all the pads all lined up. I think I've got all of them here. Here we go. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see there, this is the complete. This is the like evolution of the PlayStation pads. I mean, you can see how far it's come from the PlayStation 1. So we've got the DualSense 1, the DualSense 2, the DualShock 1, DualShock 2, DualShock 3, DualShock 4, and the DualSense. I mean, I don't know why I'm getting confused because it all sounding alike, but yeah, you can see how far the Sony PlayStation pads have come. So yeah, I mean, overall, as I said before, I really enjoyed all the pads. As for my only mini gripe, especially when they've added the vibration thing, is getting access to the battery once it breaks, which is obviously is difficult. And obviously we've started from having wire pads with cords to the latter pads becoming all Bluetooth. So that's incredibly handy if you want to sit further away from the TV or in the comfort of your sofa or wherever it is that how you sit when you play the games. So anyway, I'm sorry I've waffled right for so long. It's just I really wanted to sit there and do this video, and I wasn't sure I would be able to get a PlayStation 5 which would allow me to sit there to create this video. So sorry if I sounded a little bit nervous. I mean, I was working off the cuff without a script. I mean, I just wanted it to come across natural and authentic. So I don't know. I mean, I might try and do the other systems, but I won't be able to do all of them because I don't have all the pads for every single console. But if anyone likes it, then leave a comment to say you've liked it, and I might try and do some up from other consoles. So feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch up with you all soon. Stay safe, and bye for now.